Ah! I can finally get to do this. Look. I'm teabagging the Fuhrer. I'm sorry, there's no enemies. I'm gonna have my fun one way or another.
No, it's so ridiculous.
I'm teabagging the Fuhrer.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's here. You
Okay.
may put the code here. When I was making my decision whether or not to cover Wolfenstein Youngblood in a video, I had to take into account a few things. 1. I have never played the 3 other Wolfenstein games that came before Youngblood, or the classic one for that matter. All I know is that the previous games were received wonderfully by fans. 2. I love single-player first-person shooters, having played the likes of Half-Life 2, Quake 4, the Borderlands series, etc. Number 3. I had a friend I could play with, and I was happy to learn that with the deluxe edition, I could get myself the buddy pass so my friend can play with me for free. Given all of this, I was like, why not? I'll give it a whirl. The game has a simple premise too. You and a companion, human player or AI, take the roles of the Blazkowicz sisters, children of the former protagonist, BJ Blazkowicz. BJ goes missing, so you go out to find him, wind up joining the resistance in Paris, hear about Lab X and surmise your father might be there, and so you're told to infiltrate facilities named Brother 1, Brother 2, and Brother 3 so that you can finally go to Lab X and meet your destiny. It looked very straightforward, but I had no idea that the game would actually give me a whirl. I suppose I have to start by talking about the positives, If you look at the Metacritic scores, you'll find the user scores at 2.2, which I can respect, though I do think it's a little bit too low for the game. I really think that there was potential for something great here. Bye!
Wow. The maniacal laughter. My friends, you are witnessing the down spiral of GNG.
Second key here, Jess.
So here are 3 of the best features of the game, in my opinion. Firstly, and this is probably my personal preference, I have zero problem with the personalities of the 2 ladies, Soph and Jess. Yes, they're spunky, they're silly, and they're childish, and yes, it can seem rather contrived that 2 girls trained at home by their parents can actually fight a 2-girl war against the Nazis. It stretches the limits of how much disbelief we can suspend, and it isn't exactly the most intelligent way to start a story. The game itself is also very aware of this.
I say, what time is it? I think it's time for Arthur and Kenneth to illustrate this sticky wicket. Fuck yeah! You guys are weird.
It's stupid, and funnily enough, that's why I don't have a problem with it. I've played many FPS games with hilarious characters and stupid stories, Borderlands 2 chief among them, and I know that they can be entertaining if done right. And it's not like the 2 girls are constantly silly. They do know when it's time not to be all loosey-goosey, and it's very clear that they are serious when the right moments are at hand. I personally think that the problem isn't inherently the protagonists, but more on that later. With a friend to play with, I found myself enjoying the game's pep mechanic. By pressing T when your companion is nearby, you can perform a gesture that gives you and your partner a boost. There are many gestures that give different types of boosts, and if you plan which ones you and your buddy will take, Based on your playstyles, you can go through the game in a way that makes full use of the pep boosts. The lines that the sisters say when you use the pep mechanic is actually very entertaining.
You're fine like champ!
Well, thank you! Keep up the good work, Soph.
You got it.
On the technical side of things, the game runs surprisingly well. It looks brilliant, and on ultra settings on my Ryzen 5 1600 and RTX 2060 PC, I get about 120 FPS, give or take. If I cap the frame rate to 60, my GPU can run the game at 50 to 60 degree temperatures. I'm actually happy that the game runs buttery smooth on the graphics side of things. It's also pretty handy that I can optimize the game with one click using the NVIDIA GeForce Experience app. I absolutely can't complain about that, cause boy oh boy, there are so many things to complain about. Right, so when you start the game, you're given the option to pick which sister you want to play as, which skin you want to take, and holy shit, what the heck is that? That's a helmet. Seriously? What does the other helmet look like? Ha! What the fuck? Can I remove my helmet, please? Thank fuck for that. Because I don't want to be caught wearing any of these dickheads. Jesus. Right, so where was I? Yeah, so you can pick your starting gear, starting power, and initial pep skill. Once that's done, you have your character. I actually like it that the original gear you start with won't fully dictate how you play the whole game. Jess starts with the Sturmgewehr, or the assault rifle, and Soph starts with the Kugelgewehr, the game's shotgun. You'll acquire both as you progress with the game. Ditto the pistols, the powers, and the pep skill, if you're willing to invest in them. If you're playing solo, however, you'll find that the AI companion you get will use the same pep skill as you. You'll have to manually go to the character menu and set your AI companion's pep skill so that you get to enjoy two different kinds of bonuses at once. Oh yeah, the AI companion. Did you want to play this solo? Tough luck, because just like in Left 4 Dead, you'll always have companions even if they have to be played by the AI. The difference, of course, is that you only get one companion in Youngblood, and it's so ironic that the I in AI stands for intelligence. When the AI is unable to keep up with you for farcically long periods of time, it will teleport to you in its flimsy attempt to look competent. When the AI is there and you happen to be down, it takes farcically long for it to realize that you need revival, if indeed it realizes that you do need revival. If you like sneaking up on enemies and progressing through the game stealthily, take a wild guess what the AI will do.
Also hier drüben ist nichts. Hey, keine Bewegung!
Oh. Wager you want us to do this that stealthy way?
Sad trombone.
Oh, and of course it isn't limited to the AI companion. The enemy behaves like it has an IQ south of 90. Is that a big boss fight in front of you? Jump on top of any platform, a tank or a balcony, anything up high. Your boss enemy will magically have a problem trying to kill you.
Because reasons!
Enemies also have something to say when they are in combat. See if you can spot what the AI's preferred word is.
Suche eine bessere Position! Ändere meine Position! Jawohl, ändere meine Position! Ändere meine Position! Position!
Trust me, after hearing that for the 11th billionth time, you will put yourself in position to mute the bloody audio. If you stealth kill an enemy and they just happen to see it, sometimes they'll just stand there and do nothing. Sometimes they'll spot you even when you're cloaked. It's erratic, it's stupid, and it takes so much from what would have been a great experience because the stealth mechanics do feel satisfying in the very rare instances that they work. Speaking of stealth, and take it from someone who did his absolute best to try to ninja his way through the game, don't expect much from it. Best you can do with stealth in this game is use it as a means to consume less ammo, and if you get caught and start a gunfight, it's actually far more fun to play that way in normal difficulty than to use the heinous stealth mechanics. Instead of going through the long-winded stealth kill animation on unarmored targets that will often get you caught before it ends, you're better off throwing your melee weapon and picking it up from the corpse before getting the hell out of there. I wouldn't blame you though if you somehow messed the two up, because the stealth kill and the knife throw are mapped to the same button. As if Peter Molyneux decided to be a part of Arcane Studios for this game's development. Stealth in this game mostly utilizes the cloak skill. You can make stealth kills without it, but given the game's enemy placement and the first-person perspective, you won't get too far without the cloak skill. If you must play lots of stealth, level up that cloak as high as you can, because it starts with you being unable to cloak if you frickin' stand up. You unlock that ability at level 10. Ah yes, that brings me to the progression system. Every time you level up or complete quests, you get skill points that you can spend on the skill tree. I say tree, but it's really just 3 categories of skills divided into sets of 4, and each set after the first being unlocked after 10 levels. The progression system itself isn't the flaw in the game. Many games before it have proven that you can have these skill trees in the game and have a great time. The problem here is that 1, there's not much on the skill trees, so unlocking them does not have a very significant impact on the way you play. 2, there's no way to respec, so if you picked up a skill that you didn't necessarily want to have at that stage of the game, then you were fucked. 3, the enemies are designed to scale with you, and so they will always feel just as hard to take down as they did before. Unfortunately, there are many bullet spongy enemies in the game. They could have been fun like in other games, but here it's ridiculous. Check out how long it takes to kill the super soldier with a shotgun.
You're killing it, man!
You got it!
Keep going, Soph! Slaughter those pigs!
Now, this is the worst case scenario since the shotgun isn't actually effective against that type of enemy. Notice the white part of the enemy's health bar. That's the barrier type, and there are 2 in the game. Some enemies have soft barriers, which is shown on the health bar as small rectangles. Weapons like the Kugelgewehr and Diesel Kraftwerk have the same rectangles near the ammo counter, so you know that they are effective against soft barriers. Super soldiers and machines typically have hard barriers denoted by the white squares. The Lesser Kraftwerk and the Sturmgewehr are good against hard barriers, at least in theory. I still find enemies to be very spongy even when matching your gun to the barrier type, with the exception perhaps of the Kraftwerk type weapons. I can honestly get by the idea that you have to swap weapons to effectively take down enemies, but unfortunately, the way the game swaps weapons is fucking annoying. There are 2 pistols in the game. One is good for hard barriers, the other good for soft ones. You press 1 to switch to your pistol. How do you switch to your machine pistol? You press 1 again. If you swap to the Sturmgewehr from your pistol and you wanted to swap directly to your machine pistol, you'd have to press 1 twice. You could use the quick switch button to equip the previous weapon you held, but not having a dedicated button for the second pistol is definitely going to be an annoyance. You're better off switching to the Blitzgewehr because it's just as good at killing soft barrier enemies like the machine pistol. Oh, but it's the flashlight that really takes the bloody piss. If you'd like to switch to a different pistol with the flashlight held, you'd switch the pistol and you'd lose the flashlight. You'd have to press F again to bring it back up. It's annoying, it's silly, so do yourself a favor and when you upgrade those weapons, get the flashlight attachments so you can use your awesome weapons in the dark. Speaking of which, another thing that can help you overcome the bullet's sponginess is the weapon parts system. You can improve your weapons by attaching new parts to them, at the cost of silver coins. Each part has a brand name that determines how they improve the weapon. Nadel brand parts improve accuracy, Tempo parts improve rate of fire, and Stier parts improve damage. They will help you overcome the bullet sponginess of the enemies in some small degree, but you'll find that they still take way too long to die, and you'll have invested in so many silver coins before you start to feel a difference. Oh, and speaking of silver coins, you earn those by doing quests. You will get a good amount of coins after turning in quests, and as you're traversing the streets of Paris, you'll find them in boxes and containers and stuff like that. First of all, most of these quests are side guff. The real quests that progress the game are the quests to raid the Three Brothers and the quest to raid Lab X. Oh sorry, how is it pronounced again?
The brothers to subdue and control Paris. An Uber commandant in each tower guards the keys to the main computers. If we take control over them, we can unlock the entrance to Lab X and find your father.
Right, it's actually Lab X. Anyway, long story short, the meat of the game is intro stage plus 4 quests plus final boss. The rest of the quests are fetch / kill this guy / boring quest type that happens in the same maps over and over again, and the only reason you do it is to prepare yourself for the main story quests. It's not just padding, it's lazy padding. Whose idea was it to make players revisit stages just to open the doors that they couldn't open because they didn't find the right gun for it yet? Only to then find out that the thing they came back for contained maybe 100 coins and that's about it. Whose idea was it we needed to spend 1 round of Kraftwerk ammo to open a box that might contain 1 frickin' coin? My money is on Bethesda because this to me seems like a very flimsy attempt to get people to buy gold bars, and it can honestly fuck off. The cosmetic items that they have on offer are not the least bit compelling. So what is in this game that's compelling? The story. Remember when I said that the ladies' upbeat personalities were not the problem? I meant that because the problem is that the rest of this game didn't bother to match with them. Here's how taking a quest looks like in Borderlands 2.
Yes, the Queen went into the forest. It's too dangerous to go alone. I shall accompany you. Just 1 second, and...
Whoop, time out. I gotta take this. This Tina.
It's Mr. Tor! Tina! Put me in the game!
Okay, the gatekeeper is now Mr. Tor.
Woo! Fan to see you! Wow! So I'm a gatekeeper, huh? In that case, you gotta prove your badassitude to get past me. First task, blow up the village's scouting blimps with the fire weapon. Because reasons!
Here's how it's like in Youngblood.
Les filles. Oh, we have a big problem on our hands. The Nazis are trying to poison our water supply and clean air using large machines. Many are already getting sick from the poison. Find the machines in the underground beneath Victory Boulevard. Vous savez où ça se trouve? And destroy them. Before we all die. D'accord?
It's boring, it's dull, it's basically them just telling the player what to do. I mean, come on, put on a face, say something funny, express, damn it, express! The problem is that because the rest of the world stuck with the seriousness of the serious Nazi occupation, of the serious citizens of Paris of seriousness, the silly and potentially fun protagonists feel out of fucking place. It's like they decided to be fun, but they didn't want to leave the comfort zone of the old games, and so they took a half step that accomplished absolutely nothing. The only exception to this, perhaps, is Juju. She oozes personality right from the get-go by letting you know straight up that she's skeptical of your capabilities despite being children of BJ Blazkowicz. She celebrates with you once you do succeed in your endeavors. She knows how to joke despite the grimness of the situation. She betrays you because it turns out she's working for the big bald guy that she's madly in love with. The bald guy then tells her to stand in front of the door even if he's the one decked out with power armor, and she...
He's going to the roof. For a match. No! No! No!
Das ist der schlimmste Verrat von allen!
Fuck off with that. She could have been the perfect kind of boss fight. She had the right theme, she betrays us, and we set out to have her revenge, but no. We don't even get the chance. No. We instead get this guy, Lothar, the Nazis' very own budget Lex Luthor that pretended to be mute and joined the resistance so that he can take down the current Reich and establish his very own Fourth Reich. We know so little about him, other than he's abusive to Juju, is sadistic and creepily kinky, and worse still, we're forced to believe that Juju is super into that.
Dreimal darfst du raten.
Nein. Nein.
Soldat, den ersten Aufstieg einleiten.
Was that good for you? We barely interact with him, save for that one time he gave Soph the king chess piece, cause that's supposed to mean something. Not. He shows up out of nowhere, no build up, no wind up, and no sense. He also dies just as fast. No build up, no wind up, no sense. All we know in the game is that he has wanted to end the bloodline of BJ Blazkowicz because... reasons. Was he BJ's arch nemesis in the previous games? I don't know, and I really shouldn't have to. Speaking of BJ, you might be asking right now, where the hell is he? What's he been doing this whole time? As it turns out, a doomsday plan was enacted by the Führer when Old Man Blazkowicz killed him in the previous games. He's holed up in the Nazi facility without the Nazis' knowledge. Somehow? Why save the world this way? Why did he feel the need to run away from the family? More importantly, where the fuck did this whole other dimension plot device come from?
There's another dimension. 100s. Separated from us by the vastness of time and space. And oh my God.
What is it?
It's another world where everything's all right and you're there living your lives like you're supposed to. And it's a wonderful place. It's not like this world. This goddamn world is doomed because of me.
There is absolutely no noteworthy mention of quote-unquote other dimensions up until the point where Old Man BlazBlue tells the sisters that he saw versions of them living a good life. What's the moral lesson in all this? The family that kills Nazis together stays together? It's a shame. It really bugs me that— oh right, the bugs. The fucking bugs. This is a Bethesda game. Of course there's going to be bugs. Check it.
Oh my god, and I lagged. Whoa!
What?
I fucking clipped.
Whoa, really?
Oh my my god! I clipped through the floor of the elevator. You. There's nobody here.
What the hell did they? What did they give up?
You just snuck around for nothing. This right here is a ghost hall place.
You know what? I'm actually tempted to fire the laser craftwork to open this, but I know it's gonna set off an alarm.
Well, nobody's here, so who's gonna come and get us?
I bet nah. I bet you anything
bet-
nah.
You know.
Wala. Wow.
And there's not even anything inside.
What the fuck happened? Did they give up?
Oh well.
Press tilde. Open the console. Look at that error message.
Setting weapon player hero weapons presentable twice? Are you asking me?
You're a badass, Jess.
I can't recommend this game. There was always the part of me that wanted to, but I can't. It's bad. Nay, it's disappointingly bad, which is worse. It's a game that rode on the greatness of the previous games and then shat on it. For shame. I fear for Doom Eternal now. If Bethesda can allow the game to come out at this buggy state, if it will shove microtransactions and force AI or co-op in what should have been a great campaign-based PvE game, good lord. I hope it doesn't happen. If Bethesda does to Doom what it has done to Wolfenstein Youngblood, it would truly be the schlimmste Verrat von allen. When that day comes, I'll be sure to cover that in this channel. Please hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified if and when that fateful day comes. This is Speakerhead, your head speaker. Thank you for watching.